Alrighty, I'm back.
Look at this little Codsworth with a little hat.
Alright, let's get back and let's dive into this combat, because this gets a little weird.
First things first, whoever starts combat is the first one to go, then it goes to initiative, then it's taking turns, and then keeps going around and around. You have actions. You can take a minor or major action. You cannot take more than 2 minor actions or 2 major actions on your turn by any means. You cannot take more than 1 movement action per turn. You can also spend a luck point to move faster in initiative. If you've played 5th edition, it's kind of straightforward like that. Minor actions, basically your bonus action. Let's be honest, all of these right here for your major actions. Your AP can be used in combat by these terms. So buying more 20s, obtaining information, and additional minor and major actions, and adding additional damage. You choose your target location, or what enemy you want to hit. Then you do a test, with the test right here. The example given is if you're going to use a melee weapon, it's your strength plus your melee weapon skill. This is going to be a bit, so... Alright, we're back for combat. Choose your target, make a test, determine the location if you don't choose the location, and then inflict damage. Track the resistances to it, and reduce your ammo count used for that weapon. You determine the hit location if you want to roll a d20, if not, you just choose a location. Range also adds in some complications, meaning the difficulty rating goes up. Once you make the hit, you roll a combat die, which is actually one of their weird dice sets you have to have. You're going to need their dice set, so from Odysseus' website, their dice, it's like 23 bucks. They give you a d20 location die and a Vault-Tec logo with 1 as the face. And a 6-sided damage die to show the blast radius. There you go, that's what they kind of look like. Those won't be out until June, July. All of this is pre-order, expected to ship by summer. Like I said, you could pre-order today and get the PDF for free. This is how you determine the damage on that die. You increase the damage by adding some AP to it. There's damage types, you know, the traditional stuff you know from Fallout. There are also damage effects, and of course radiation damage. Oh yeah, this was going to be a long part of this. Damage effects: burst, breaking, penetration, piercing, radioactive, spread, stun, and vicious. Basically it's triggered by the damage die, or combat die, but basically that's why you would need those dice versus just regular traditional Dungeons & Dragons dice. Adds more flair to the game. Each weapon list its damage effect immediately after the damage rating. Laser gun, energy weapon, +4 face, piercing 1 damage effect, damage type energy. Quality is good for close quarters. There's the example. If you get radiation damage, it reduces the maximum HP you have, just like in the video games. In all cases where characters would suffer radiation damage and another type of damage, you would do the radiation damage first, then any other type. Pause for the example. What happens if you take any damage? A critical hit occurs when you get 5 or more damage in one specific area, making complications for you. And you will need to see a doctor to get that repaired. I'm sorry, was I bluffing? This is part 4. Let's talk about dying. You hit 0 HP and you start dying. You can't do any other action. I mean, it's so simple. You must attempt an endurance survival test with a difficulty equal to the number of injuries you have and a complication range of 19 to 20. If you pass the test, you remain alive, but if you're still dying, you fail, you die. If they suffer any damage while dying, they immediately gain an additional injury, or an additional injury caused by another critical hit. Basically, if you go down, you are down, and you cannot do anything to get yourself back up. You must rely on your party to heal you. It's not like cast healing word. Ooh. Healing actions in combat. Taking a chem, or doing first aid, which is an intelligence plus medicine check. Stabilize a dying patient. Heal HP equal to your medicine rating. Treat 1 injury the patient is suffering from. So basically, you're a healer/medic. Don't worry, we're almost done. We're at part 5. Stabilizing the dying. You make an intelligence medicine check, and they will no longer have to attempt endurance survival tests to avoid death. If they were to die from radiation, well then you're going to have to actually spend an additional point of AP maybe to get them to stabilize because they're going to be stuck at 0. To heal that person, you're going to have to pass an intelligence medicine test to heal them for a number of HP equal to your rank in medicine. And an additional 1 point of HP for every AP you spend to heal that person. Let's say, for example, you break your leg. Treating an injury, you're going to have to do an intelligence medicine test to treat the injury. Doing first aid, though, will not fully heal the person. Mostly just a patch-up job. But they will not have any complications from that injury. No longer posing a penalty. If they take damage again in that spot, they're going to have another first aid check because they're injured again. To reopen wounds such. Talk about stim packs and robots next.
Part 6!
So if you're going to use a stim pack, which is, the most iconic thing in video games for healing, broken into 2 actions. You're either going to take a chem, which is a minor action, immediately receive 4 HP or treat 1 injury. If the person's dying, they stabilize immediately. If you take a first aid major action, you administer your stim pack as a part of your action. You gain 4 HP immediately in addition to any other effects. When using first aid major action, you administer a stim pack as part of your action. The patient regains 4 HP immediately in addition to any other effects, and any AP spent to heal the additional health points is healed twice as much. 2 HP per AP rather than 1. Robots cannot be healed from stim packs. This is for all the Mr. Handies out there that want to play as a robot or a Protectron. Healing robots. They can't heal over time, basically. So if you're going to attempt a first aid action on a robot or even a suit of armor... Okay, we're on part 7 and it cut me off halfway. When attempting a first aid action on a robot or a suit of power armor or any large machine like a vehicle, requires an intelligence plus a repair test. With a difficulty of 2, this increased by 1 for each injury the machine has suffered. Passing the test restores HP equal to the repair rate. Machines cannot use chems, though a repair kit functions as a stim pack. Machines cannot heal through eating, drinking, or resting. Outside combat, you're basically wanting to do a repair action to heal yourself. Anyone that plays Mr. Handy, you're basically a Warforged with really weak skin. But think about it, you can also repair power armor this way as well. While you're resting, you could be repairing stuff. Long-term recovery. 3 ways a character recover HP can be through resting, food, and drinking, and medical attention. Rest is the easiest way, but the slowest way. 6 hours will gain you all of your HP lost. If you get 8 hours of sleep, you're well rested, plus 2 to your HP. You see why I dreaded doing this? God damn, we're on 8. If you sleep with any injuries, you have to do an endurance survival test with a difficulty of 1. The complication range increases by 1 for each injury that has not been treated. If you are successful, you recover 1 of your injuries, plus any additional injuries if you spend 2 AP. Difficulty of the test ranges based on how active you were during the previous day. Restful, light, moderate, heavy. You can only sleep once in every 24-hour period. Going without sleep for a long period of time can cause harm. See survival coming up. Food and drink restores HP, listed in the description below. Iguana on a stick. 6 HP. No other effects? Is it irradiated? Probably. Some form of foods and drinks are irradiated, especially if you consume raw. Roll 1 on the happy face die. When consuming this, you will roll for the effect. You suffer 1 radiation damage, ignoring any DR damage resistance from equipment or armor. Basically, you're poisoning yourself. I just can't do this anymore. It's killing me.
Medical attention.
That have been injured, poisoned, or suffers from a disease. A single character can provide medical attention by using a medical rating. For injuries, each day of rest of medical attention a patient receives allows them to assist with their endurance plus survival test at the end of the day to heal the injuries, using your own intelligence plus medicine target number. For poisons and diseases, you may assist the patient's endurance plus survival test to help them recover. If the patient spends the entire day resting, they reduce the difficulty of the test by allowing one of the following recovering to quickly recover from in the next page. Another character may assist by doing an endurance plus survival test into their intelligence medicine test, taking antibiotics to reduce the duration of the disease by 1, automatically no test required. Spend an entire day resting, sitting, or laying somewhere comfortable, performing a minimum of physical activities, reducing the difficulty test by 1, reducing it to minimum 0. Part 10. Yay! Oh look, you can die from dysentery. Do I need to even read the diseases? You kind of get an idea. They're kind of just complications. Recovering from radiation. If you've played the video games, basically you're going to have to take Radaway to remove that, or any other chem or consumable that removes radiation damage. Now on to the actual final part of combat, the environment.
This took so goddamn long.
The distance is basically divvied up into sections. Reach, close, medium, long, and extremely far away. If I had to guess, reach and close are basically CQB, close quarter combat. Medium is your standard like dungeon crawl room where you're 5 feet away from somebody. Long is going to be like a reach in D&D terms, so you'd poke someone with a stick. But extreme is halfway across the room kind of a thing. You're going to really need to use a sniper scope or something to shoot somebody. And it's extremely hard to get that shot. But I digress because it doesn't really tell you much here. In the final section we'll talk about cover and hazards. It's the final brain cell. Let's get into this. Cover provides additional damage resistance against the physical or energy-based attacks that you have against you. You basically get to roll a combat die. Here's the combat values. Difficult terrain and obstacles. In moving through a difficult terrain or obstacle, you're going to have to spend AP to successfully get through it. The hotter the area, the more AP you have to spend to get through it. Environmental conditions. For example, Radstorm. Any creature not in shelter suffers 2 points of radiation damage per start of each turn. Hazards. Hazard examples. For example, falling debris is 3 happy face physical damage. Stop saying happy face, it's a D6. It's 3d6 damage. It just seemed funnier. Then finally, damaging objects. So frag mine, flammable gas, grenade bouquet, shotgun trap, and sentry trap. Paizo, take notes, please! Basically, you'll trigger it, you have to make a test to survive, and then you'll take the damage. I'm assuming if you pass it, you don't take the damage, but I digress. Okay, so this one's going to be really quick, but if the next section, what do you guys want to talk about? Should I go into the pre-mod that they give you that's basically a prequel to Fallout 4? It has nothing to do with Nick or Nora, it's just something that's going on in the Commonwealth. This whole book, you're in the Commonwealth. Walk us through character creation. Actually filling out this. Maybe talk about the errata that came out. Because this is still not out yet. It's still in pre-order stage. Beta, alpha, whatever. Or maybe go into the survival aspect of the whole series. For example, you can scavenge supplies. Craft everything. 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 And I'm going to skip this section of it because I'm going to have to give credit to people that are Fallout fans to really go into this section. It gives you basically just stuff in the area and then what corporations are in the area. It's mostly world building. What to expect from Vault-Tec, what to expect in the Commonwealth, what companies you'd find there, Red Rocket, Poseidon Energy, Studwick Border LLC, ArcJet Systems, Journal Atomics,